Today's topic is maximizing AI in back office strategies for chartered accountants. So basically, this session will explore how AI can streamline back office functions, enhance efficiency, and empower chartered accountants to deliver greater value in their practices. So before starting, let's just run the ICI motto first.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रदब्रह्मा तदब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Okay, so let's start this session as quickly as possible. I will introduce the two speakers that we have today, the wonderful ladies, Sinduja Santhosh and Karthika Murugavel. Both are from Zoho. So let me introduce both of them. Sinduja Santhosh, she is head of customer success at Zoho Books. She has 15 years of expertise in finance domain. She leads dynamic teams focused on enhancing customer experiences, driving retention, and fostering strong partner enablement at Zoho. She works closely with chartered accountants, cost accountants, and Zoho partners to help them implement Zoho finance products. So before joining Zoho, she worked as a finance analyst at HP and later at Standard Chartered Bank, where she primarily handled risk management and Basel reporting for UK Financial Services Authority, FSA. She was born and raised in a remote village in southern Tamil Nadu, and in a family of farmers. She's completed her master's in business administration in finance with a gold medal. She's a happily married, loving mother to a 10-year-old boy. Coming to Karthika Murugavel, she is head of business solutions at Zoho Finance and Operations. With around 12 years of experience in business solutions, she has spent last decade with Zoho Finance team, where she specializes in helping chartered accountants integrate modern technological advancements. She collaborates with clients and accountants to craft strategic solutions tailored to diverse business needs. Having lived in various parts of the country as an army kid, she brings a wide-ranging perspective to her work. Balancing her role as a married mother of an 8-year-old boy with professional commitments, she is deeply passionate about empowering women in the workforce, actively supporting their career growth. Her extensive travel representing Zoho Finance and Operation highlights her commitment to blending professionals to succeed in a rapidly evolving industry. So with this, I welcome both the speakers. Welcome Karthika and welcome Sinduja. I will hand over the dais to you. For the participants who have joined in already, if you have any questions, you can post it in Q&A box, and the speakers will take it up whenever they have completed with the session. So with that, over to you, Karthika and Sinduja.
Thank you so much, Maitri. Thank you so much, the entire WIRC team. So this is our third session. We could see, active participation from the members, and we are very glad that, this series have been successful. So I think our first two topics were more on, the first session was, to welcome you back, to get back to your careers, especially for the women CAs. And then we spoke about how you can digitally transform the back office operations. So since we are already done with, coming back and then transforming digitally, this time we are going to talk a step above, which is also a very buzzword currently, AI. So we are going to talk about how you can maximize AI in your back office operation. So beyond going digital, let's also hang on to the current trend of AI, which is not just a trend. It's good to hang on to that trend because it's really going to make your life easy. So as a chartered accountant, see, anyone can use AI, everyone should use AI. As chartered accountants, how can you utilize that technology, and what kind of applications you should try, or at least to have an idea about how this can help you with your back office operations, this session would definitely be helpful. So with that, we can actually get started. So let me just share the screen. So since this is going to be 2 hour session, we can definitely have it as an interactive session. I know it's 3 p.m. and usually it's that sleepy time, right? So definitely, if you have any questions at any point of time, you can just post it in the chat and we will take that up, and then we will continue with our session. So let me share the screen. So I hope our screen is visible. Participants, could you please give a thumbs up in the chat window if yes?
Are you able to see our screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah,
very
thank you.
live audience.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's get started.
Okay, so have you ever wondered when the evolution of artificial intelligence began? Any guesses? You can post it in the chat box. If any of you would like to answer this question, please feel free to post it on
So
chat
here
box.
we are not going to, this session is definitely not about the definitions of artificial intelligence or LLM or NLP. So we have taken a mode of, telling you a lot of stories and ensure that, it's not like a regular artificial intelligence session. So we welcome the session to be more interactive. So yes, if you can actually put the answer in the chat box. It could be a very wild guess also.
Since 1956. Okay. All right. Yeah. So 100 BC. It all started around 100 BC. Can anyone tell me how many years ago it is? Roughly, maybe 100 BC is how many years ago? Any guesses? 2125 years ago. Yeah, what do you think this is? Appears to be a weird bronze piece, right? Curious to know its story? A short one. Let's time travel to the late 19th century to a beautiful Greek island. Marine divers discovered a shipwreck off the coast. Among the various other artifacts they found, there were such strange bronze pieces that didn't make sense at first sight. Modern technology came to rescue. X-rays and 3D scans revealed something astonishing, and that too, this device was used in 100 BC. Looks even weird. These pieces were part of the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek device. Anyone knows about Antikythera mechanism here? Anyone heard of this term Antikythera mechanism? All right. The Antikythera mechanism could accurately predict the positions of the celestial bodies, track the cycles of lunar and solar lunar calendar, and forecast lunar eclipses. It has a complex gear system. As you could see, it has a complex gear system that allows to perform intricate astronomical calculations. This ancient artifact showcases an impressive understanding of both astronomy and mechanical engineering well beyond its time. Let's remember it's 2000 years back. It's considered the world's first analog computer and show how advanced Greek technology was for its time. This Antikythera mechanism reminds us that the quest for understanding and innovation has deep roots in human history. From ancient inventions to today's cutting edge advanced technologies, our quest for knowledge has shaped our progress. I hope everyone agrees with this. Fast forward from 100 BC to 1944.
Closer to the date with one of the
Yes.
audience has said.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Kelvin's tide predicting machine, invented by Lord Kelvin in the 19th century, was a groundbreaking tool for forecasting tide. It used a system of gears and rotating discs to predict tidal patterns based on the positions of, again, moon and sun. This device made tide predictions much more accurate, which was essential for navigation and maritime activities. During World War II, when Allied forces from United States, United Kingdom, and Canada launched a massive assault on the beaches of Normandy, which is in France, and France was under Nazi Germany control that time, this tide predicting machine played a predominant role in favor of the Allies in this invasion. This operation was the largest seaborne invasion in history and played a pivotal role in ending German dominance in Western Europe. This tide predicting machine was very crucial for this invasion. It provided vital information on tides and currents, enabling allies to plan their landings and navigate the challenging beach conditions effectively. Okay, one more story which is more relatable. So this was how New York looked like during 1890s. Horse-drawn carriages were widely used for personal and commercial transportation. They were a common sight on city streets. So during this time, New York faced a significant sanitization challenges due to the widespread use of horse-drawn carriages. The large number of horses on the streets led to a substantial accumulation of manures, which created major public health and cleanliness issues. Streets were frequently covered in horse dung, leading to unpleasant odor and contributing to the spread of diseases like dysentery and typhoid. Necessity is the mother of invention. Aptly describes the development of Ford Model T. Henry Ford introduced Model T in 1908. This revolutionized the automotive industry in the United States with its affordability, reliability, and innovative mass production technique. Over the production span of 20 years, more than 15 million Model Ts were sold in United States. After the introduction of Ford Model T, New York City underwent a revolutionary shift. As you could see in this picture, it underwent a revolutionary shift in transportation, leading to a series of significant urban transformations. Throughout history, humans have consistently aimed to streamline processes using automation and leverage forecasting tool to predict future trends. I hope you agree with this, Karthika.
Correct. Actually, this the New York case which you say, right? Like I relate so much to it.
Right.
So I have a friend, okay, so where we travel together in a car a lot, okay, and so I usually, I mean, not voluntarily but involuntarily, I tend to say that, oh, because all of us have started taking cars, there is so much pollution, okay, and then he keeps saying, imagine instead of so many cars, so many bullock carts or horse carts here, the shit which it would have produced.
Obviously,
right?
yeah.
So like we think like the current pollution which we are creating with car is so high, which is actually not the true. We are actually degrading the the invention and automation which has come, which has actually made our life better.
Right.
It is just an assumption that anything new that comes or anything that comes of technology, usually we just, even me, like involuntarily we want to degrade it.
Right.
And we, but only when we study history and when we maybe this was an article published somewhere, or from somewhere you have taken this reference, right? So only I think when we go through these things, we actually understand that maybe previously it was more messy and shitty, and actually these automations and technology has done more good. I wouldn't say only good, but at least more good, right? True. And it's always humans who have invested on it, right from the time, like just striking the stones and producing a fire, or like inventing a wheel, all of that. I think humans have always been into it. They have always thought how I can automate things, right? So this Bahubali movie you have seen, like when the hero was sent out in exile, and then he lives with the common people. True. And then they fetch water and all of that, and then he thinks of how I can automate that process. True. Right? So humans have always invested in that, and it doesn't just make their day-to-day task simpler. They've been interested in always predicting things, right? We have always been interested in astrology, right? Like when we want to get married, or like I've seen people doing it even for studies, like when they are in 10th and 12th in villages, still people go and ask, like, how would be the future of my son, or somehow humans are interested in predicting the future. True. Which is very much required in a business and all, right? Absolutely. So like if I can forecast what am I going to make in my sales, what is going to make revenue, obviously my business is going to flourish. So though we funnily say that like astrology, if someone believes in astrology, we see them as something as backwards, but imagine astrology in business, it's definitely something forward. So I think it's very common and natural among human to look forward, right? So so you told a lot of story. I would also like to say that we call computer as something which we are currently using, the computer, right, which is a machine. But you remember what is Shakuntala Devi was called? Human calculator, right? And actually this word computer exists from 16th century, I think so, in the year, I'm not sure if 16th century and 1613 is correct. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so let me not use that. So even in 1613 the word computer existed, and this was used to refer to human who used to do excellent calculations and computations. Yeah. So I think if there was an accountant who used to compute things and help a business owner, I mean whatever was a business at that time, I think he was called a computer. Correct. Right. So if we are thinking computer is something very modern, no. Like when we ask question, when was AI what do you think, when was AI evolved, somehow we think it should be in the 19th century itself. But as you said, no, like much before that, even 2000 years ago, there were few things which you can call as AI, right? In fact, I very much believe that it's a paradox. If you have been observing, there were a lot of things which would have been called AI then. Okay, maybe some years ago when something was being formulated, or discovered upon, or discussed upon, we would have called that as AI. Okay, and then once it was invented, once it was figured out, we named as something, and we started calling something else as an AI. Right. Like for example, this dictation. Now see, so we both are Tamilians. I'm sure many other people people from other regions would have also joined this session. Do you find texting in your regional languages easy? I would like to take that answer. How many of you think texting in your regional language is easy? Is English easier or your regional language is easier? No. So yeah, I don't think anyone else. Yes. Okay, the person who is saying yes, do you type it on your own, or you just say it in your language and your smartphone translates it? Do you type it on your own? You type in your regional language? Yeah. Or like, do you actually just say it? See, we say it in our language generally. Yeah. So what is the technology used there? It is now called dictation. That is a technology which is used, which is available in almost every smartphone. So my dad, my mom, everyone communicates in Tamil preferably, and they don't type it. they just say something, and then the text is produced and that comes to me, right? So what was called AI then? So when this was being invented, I mean, before it was being invented, when some research was going on, I'm sure at that time they called it as AI. Like,
Right.
there is some technology which is going to do a text to speech translation. So that was called AI. Now that the technology has already come, and now all of us are using it, it is very prevalent in all the smartphones. Now
Right.
now we have termed it as dictation. Similarly, so when we take photographs, okay, so there are a lot of applications which detect objects, right? So let us say I've taken a photograph in this room. Let's say we both have taken photograph. I don't want you in my frame, okay? So I can use that app to delete you. Or let us say I have this bottle in my frame, okay? I don't want this bottle in my frame, or I don't want this board on my frame. So I can do an object detection. I mean, that app does it. It helps me remove those unnecessary objects. So what is it doing? What is that app? How that app has been developed is that it will have only humans, okay, or it allows you to choose the objects which you do not want in the frame. So what is it doing? It's doing object detection, right? Now obviously when this technology was thought of, and then when they were working on it, that was also called AI, right? But now that this is available, now face recognition is available in all the smartphones. For the car, there are self-driving cars now, right? So those cars, when I'm driving a car in a road, if there is an object, it is able to detect it.
Yeah, yesterday I read one article about Tesla's, the self-driving car. On the parking that was very chaotic. That car is able to find its driver. I mean, the co-passenger. So it that advanced.
Yeah,
now.
and then it can park on its own also,
Right.
because it detects the object around, right?
yes.
So it knows where to stop.
Correct.
Stop, like the way we take reverse and then
Correct.
park. Similarly, the self-driving cars can do it themselves. So,
Right.
but when that technology was being conceived or thought of and or worked upon, until then it was called AI.
Right.
And as soon as that was formulated, now we call it as object detection, right?
True.
So that is why I'm calling it as paradox. Somehow it is like, until you're there,
Right.
it is AI. Once you're there, you name the technology and you move on. So
Correct.
anything that is futuristic is AI.
Correct.
So what I'm trying to say here is, today we are calling something as AI. Okay, so maybe even Chat GPT, Open AI, we are calling that as AI. Maybe tomorrow we'll just call it as chatbot. Like, okay, what is today's chatbot? You remember? Some 5 or 6 years ago, we used to call that as artificial intelligence. Today, we call it as only chatbot. It's like just a personal assistant. Someone is chatting with you, and then and that's it. We just see it as chatbot. We no more call it as an AI. So what the point which I'm trying to make is that AI itself is a paradox. Okay, so we don't have to. It's a fancy thing. It's something instant trend. So yes, let's learn about it and all of that. Let's see how we can use it in our day-to-day operations. How I can benefit from it, but let's not be scared of it. Okay, so
what we think of AI is going to change again and again.
Again and again. Exactly. So AI as a frontier paradox is like whatever we have been calling AI today is going to change again and again. So that's what exactly it means. However, let's stick to AI and let's continue with that.
Yeah. So I want to share a thought that truly resonates with our current landscape. So there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. So take OpenAI as an example. In just a few months, we have seen AI capable of writing essays, creating stunning art, and even assisting doctors in diagnosing illness. I recently presented in AI in Finance and Accounting Forum organized by ICAI, where I happened to listen to other speakers about AI as well, speakers including Sri Krishnan Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, and Chairman of the AI in ICAI committee, CA, Daniva Sharma, and few Central Council members of ICAI as well presented on the conference. Wherein CA Daniva Sharma has highlighted the potential of CA-GPT. I'm sure all of you are aware that our ICA has developed a tool to help its member use generative AI in your professional practices, right? Chartered accountants are now using AI as one of their beloved article training. So I've learned this, during this AI conference where one of the central council members spoke about it, and he mentioned that they are now using AI as one of their article training. So to do data analysis, document review, risk assessment, tax compliance, and so on. So it feels like we have leaped forward decades in an incredibly shorter time, right? So while these rapid advancements are exciting, they also bring a sense of unease. With each breakthrough, we must ask ourselves important question: how can we harness this power responsibly, right? So we are on an important journey with AI. By making thoughtful choices now, we can shape a future that benefits everyone. Let's embrace this remarkable technology. This decision we make today will undoubtedly define the world of tomorrow.
Okay, so you remember, like, I think for a couple of years only, we have been talking. I mean, at least we both have been presenting a lot
Right.
to the Indian audiences. So mostly, we used to do it in US, Australia. But whenever we presented in India, we used to talk about cloud accounting.
Correct.
I mean, for this point, which you're saying that, when, there are decades where
When
nothing
nothing
happens, right? So there were decades, when we had to convince people to move to cloud.
Correct.
Okay, because especially Zoho, all applications, our applications on cloud, and we used to convince people on how cloud is better. And then there are weeks. So until few weeks before, we were talking about cloud accounting, convincing people to cloud accounting, and then within weeks, once as you said, the OpenAI came.
Correct.
And like, that there has been so much buzz about AI, and now we are presenting about artificial intelligence. So
Yes.
very much agreed on this point.
Right. So, because the impact of technology is much broader and beyond what we think, that is also one main reason. And spotting trends is also not that easy.
Why do you say so?
So, because jobs which centuries ago predicted, if you think of the jobs which century ago was predicted, what comes to our mind? There are many things, right? So, underwater city builders will be there, radium specialists will be there, moon miners will be there.
Okay, I mean, so as children, we used to think these are the kind of jobs which
that
are
is going to be
okay.
there in the future, right? But jobs which actually evolved is entirely different from what we have predicted. So the jobs actually evolved are data scientist, network engineer, robotics engineer, these kind of jobs.
Agreed.
Jobs we think will be the future. Do you think that will be the future?
As you say, space, it's difficult to spot the trend, right?
Yeah, so potential future job could be something else. As we all know, today we have climate reversal specialists, digital memory therapist, right? So
Very fancy names.
so forget centuries. Did we foresee today from 2018?
Oh my God.
No, I hope no one can forget the COVID-19 days. We have not even thought of COVID in, when we were in 2018, right?
Right.
So we have been calling many different technologies as AI for more than half a century. What we think of AI, as I said earlier, what we think of AI is going to change again and again. So what's in store for future? How do you future-proof with this challenging environment?
Like, see, definitely, spotting the trend is difficult.
Yes.
But what would be the key would be business resilience, is
True.
what I would say. So yes, we did not foresee COVID. We did not foresee even the jobs which
Right.
we are getting. And as I said, we had been talking about cloud technology. We were finding it difficult to convince, and then now we are talking about AI, etc.
Right.
But what stayed there is, I just love the word resilience. Okay, so business resilience is definitely key. Now what we mean by that is, if you are able to survive as a business now, from chartered accountants point of view, if your clients, okay, if you are able to make your clients business stay on top even during unexpected times, like COVID, for example, or any market changes that is happening. Okay, so let's say you have been used to a particular kind of technology, and suddenly there is something else happening in the market. Not just technology, even the way the businesses are done might change. So if your clients are able to live up to that, they are able to adapt to unexpected challenges, they are able to anticipate and prepare for more risk. Okay, so there is always some risk evaluation that should be happening. If you are able to anticipate it more and also prepare yourself for it, if there are any short term shocks, okay, so you might usually our plans are for long terms, but if there are anything happening suddenly, like like last session I was not able to join because
Yes.
I was suffering from heavy viral infection. Okay, so that was a short term shock for you because I did not join, right?
Absolutely.
Because you cannot speak for 2 hours continue.
Even I was not well.
Yeah, right, but then we managed to have a session, right?
Yeah.
Because we are always prepared. We know that if
We
someone is
always
not
have plan B.
plan B,
Especially Indians, we always have plan B.
exactly. So as a business also, we should be able to survive those short term tasks, and during those unexpected times, if you are able to build trust with your customers. Now in your case chartered accountants building trust with your clients, and that's what you need to empower your clients also. Your clients should be able to build trust with their customers. If that is done, now I would say that is a business resilience. And see, as a Zohites, we are proud of that. We were able to do that during COVID times,
Yes.
right? So we were the first company to decide that we are going to work from home before even pandemic was announced in India. So our CEO was able to visualize long term that it is going to hit here, and this is the mode we are going to take. So let's take it on the right time. So proactively we moved to work from home, right?
Right.
Now because of the applications, kind of the applications which we were using, so when we had to start working from home suddenly, so we belong to the customer facing team, and we have a for the huge customer volume we also have a huge team to help them. So it was not difficult to switch, because the applications which we were using were on cloud. So instead of taking the call from this MacBook or this laptop from office, I'm going to do that from my home, right?
Yes.
So and my support system is going to be there for my customers. They can call me anytime. So that was just a COVID time where you had to stay inside, right? Obviously it was not like your phone
Normal.
wires are cut, or like or the technology is not working. That was not the case. It is just that you are at home, like you can't go outside. So that was a time which I think people actually understood the power of technology.
Absolutely.
In fact, that was a time, you remember, we were buzzing with calls for accounting applications, right?
Yes.
uh, like I think, like any people who were using desktop applications for doing their accounting, billing, they realized that no, they need an application which they can connect to remotely,
Yes.
and to have a license with multiple users. Now all that was, I mean, though COVID, definitely I do not want to appreciate COVID for
Yes.
anything, but I think मतलब हर बुरी बात में कुछ अच्छा होता है, they say, right? Like anything bad has something good also.
Right.
So the good thing which we brought was, I think, it opened eyes of people to know, to embrace technology,
Right.
to know its importance, and apply on that. So at that time, what I would say is, like, definitely what we had as a company was resilience. Definitely we built more trust with our existing customers. We did not leave them at that time, and in fact we also brought in more customers for us at that time, right? And see, why were we using, so generally people use the regular desktop phones, right, for taking calls, but we were already on cloud. We were already using our own applications like Click for any internal calls, or like something like a Zoho Voice to make our external calls for a customer. So because we anticipated risk, like and anyways we used to have BCP plans and all, right? Like, so let's say if Chennai often gets flooded, like recently, that's the trend. So we know that we need to have a backup somewhere else. That is one BCP. But let us say, no, let's say my another BCP is in Mumbai, and Mumbai is also flooded. But then my hometown is Coimbatore, where it is not flooded, right? So I will move to Coimbatore and I can take that call. Why should I be present in an office to take that call, right? So that means we are ready to we are prepared for more risk, right? And anything short term that happens, like nowadays what happens suddenly, when a viral attack comes, that whole day everyone falls sick, right? And then what do? We say, okay, since it shouldn't spread to others, all of you take work from home, right? So that's like a short term shock which we have. Now whatever be the situation, we are able to stay there and give you the same kind of support. Now that is business resilience, right? So how does that business resilience comes? That's my favorite answer. That is by embracing the technology waves, because whatever new comes in technology, instead of being scared of that, we are able to adapt to that, right? And that is what we want to do for others as well. Like now we want to empower everyone with the technology, and that is the advice we would give to these chartered accountants also, that you need to empower your customers like that. So you have to embrace the technology waves and empower your customers also with the technology. Now all that is fine. Obviously the questions would be like, how do we embrace it? Okay, so again, we will keep this very specific to finance, right? So again, coming back to the AI, now instead of saying it as technology, let me stick to the word AI itself. Okay, so how many of you have attended our sessions before? If so, will anyone be able to let me know what you understand from this, because I've already explained it before. So if anyone already knows it, maybe you can say this. What do you perceive from this image? I'm saying the left hand side is today's CA, whereas on the right hand side is the AI first CA. So what do you think is the thought process in our head which made us come up with this image? Anyone? Even if you have not attended the session, if you want to take a guess. Okay. A traditional CA looks at the history, okay, and see future with AI.
The past and future.
Okay. First image refers to past and future. Okay. Anyone wants to try more? All right. So very well guessed. So yes. So the first image is about, you look backwards actually, right? So based on that, you decide. So you have, so you sit on maybe March 31st, and then you look at the back, see how the business has performed for last 1 year, and then you tell, where do you stand? That is the I don't want to call it as today's CA, but I know that in India, at least still that happens. I wish I could have put it as past CA, okay? But I know this still happens. So that's what today's CA does. Now, what will AI for CA do? He won't do that. He would use the backward data, but he would predict what is in store for the future. So as I said, anything that is futuristic, that's where we use AI. Okay, so a CA who is going to uh, proactively decode the future for the client's business will be the AI first CA. Okay, so no more financial analysis. The AI first CA is definitely going to do a performance analysis. Okay, so no backward looking metrics. It's going to be forward looking metrics, that in the coming quarter I'm going to make this much revenue. In the coming quarter I'm going to reduce this much operational expenses. And the data should be also real time. I shouldn't be checking just the historic data. It should be real time data. So today, at this point of time, I should be able to do my bank reconciliation. Like since morning to this time, how much money I have made? Is it reflecting in my books of accounts also? So that much real time it should be, instead of doing some reconciliation some week after, or months after. And instead of having a descriptive analysis, we need to have a predictive analysis. As I said, you need tomorrow how much, based on my today's sales, or for past 1 week sales, or 1 month's sale, I should be able to predict the analytics. Yes, spotting trends is
Really tough.
tough, I agree, maybe in terms of jobs and all of that, but I think when it comes to some data analytics, especially with respect to the business, I think to an extent it definitely works, and that is what we need also. So definitely you will be able to spot the trend, and we call it as performance analysis and no more financial analysis. So in this finance domain, how do you make the most of AI? Okay, that is what we are going to cover next. So again, this I would have said in my previous session also, and I just stand by it. So see, AI is there. Yes, it is something new. We need to embrace it. We need to learn it. There is some fear around it. Though we are trying to, dissolve it, still, it's just there. Okay. But definitely that is not what we need to be worried about. What we need to be worried about is how am I going to use that AI to give a good customer experience, because that is the actual battleground. Be it as a business for us, our goal is to empower you. So you people who will be using our applications, our goal is to empower you, the customer, and for you it should be to empower your clients, and for your clients it should be their customers. Okay. So it is the what is the actual battleground is what kind of good customer experience you are giving to your customers. Now what we need to focus is how can I use the AI strategy there. So yes, that is my battleground, but how do I use this new trend, new technology wave, AI, to give that? Okay. So first, what are those three things which you need to focus is? One is to give a very good customer experience. Another one is to value. Okay. What value you are adding to your customers, and privacy, how much privacy you are giving. So as a chartered accountant, obviously you're going to have access to most of their data, but see that is definitely not cool nowadays, because you would have noticed the whole world is very obsessed about privacy. Okay. And even in India you can see we are having more startups now. It's the new generations which have started the business, right? They will not be cool about just giving all the data to you, and then you would be processing it. So what is a strategy is, like, you should tell them that you are giving them applications or you are giving them services which is going to maintain their privacy. Now these are the three places where as a chartered accountant you can score. Okay. uh, how I'll just explain it with some of the examples from the back office operations itself. Okay. Now you need to make them use technology savvy applications. One is that, as I said, since they are going to be younger generations, they themselves would be using that. But as a chartered accountant, you should be also giving them applications where both of you will be part of it, of course. And whatever you are saying, let's say you are saying that see, actually you have made this much profit, or if you're saying that no, somewhere something is wrong, the budget which you have fixed is not right, or things are not reconciling, that should be contextual when you say that. Now as a business owner, that person should be able to go and check what you are saying. Okay. So the applications which you are using should be able to deliver that fact contextually, should have that intelligence and the efficiency. Okay. And next thing, how are you going to give make them more productive? How you are making the making technology accessible to everyone? So obviously, if it is an enterprise, a mid market customer, okay, they will be ready to use any kind of applications which you're saying, or they themselves will evaluate it and do it. Okay. But the small customers, so let's say there are a lot of shops which still just writes
Paper bill.
khata, like they call it as khata book or something, right? So they just make a note of it, and maybe they might be doing just the mental maths, or at the end of the month they might be just having some approximate figure as a profit or something, right? But if you make them productive, okay, if you are going to have MSMEs as your clients, SMEs as your clients, or very small ones, just getting started people as your clients, then how are you making them productive? Because they will not have that workforce also, right? So they cannot have users for each of the things, like sales separately, purchase separately, to see their total reports separately. So they're not going to have separate people. So how you are empowering them by giving them such a strong products or applications, so that they are able to concentrate on their business and not worry about their finance. Okay. How are you making the technology accessible to them? So that's how you can add value to them. Next thing, as I said, privacy. Now when you are introducing an application to them, what you can tell them is, like, you sign up for it and you invite me as a user, and you tell me and you decide what access you need to give them. So let's say you're going to provide them a service of only GST filing. Okay. Now you necessarily don't need to have access to their bank reconciliations, bank statements, right? So it's you're going to do only if you're going to file only their GSTR1 or GSTR3B reports, you need access only to their sales and purchases. In fact, you don't even need access to their ledgers, right? Why should they have an access to the journal report, right? So you decide, so based on what kind of services you're going to provide to them, it is your client who is going to decide what kind of access they will be giving to you. Okay, so you pass the key to them. Okay, you make them the master, you empower them. Okay, because currently that is what is intent, I would say, right?
Yes.
So privacy and security is definitely really very important, and you, the applications which you are using or the services which you are providing should be able to give that to them, right? So so this was like very I think it's still one level above, like it's more like a gyan session. Okay. So let's get more deeper, right? So let's pick some back office operations. Okay.
Right.
And let's say how AI is helping them, streamlining them, or making it easier. I mean, the life of chartered accountants easier.
Right.
So let's get into those examples, those specifics.
Perfect. So the foremost is personalized communication. All right. So customers always wanted to have a personalized communication with business owners, right? So you can suggest the business owners to enable a portal for their clients, which is a self-service portal. So there's something called client portal, which is a self-service portal that is a dedicated space for customers to view and manage transactions that had happened between businesses and clients. If it provides them more control over actions such as accepting codes or paying invoices from one place, all this can be happen right inside client portal itself. So if you look at the screen, you're able to see one chat bar, right? So the clients can initiate a chat right inside client portal, which will be notified to the business owners right inside an accounting software. In this case, let's take an example of Zoho Books. If you are using Zoho Books and you're enabling the client portal functionality to the customers, and your customers is initiating a chat, your customers first of all will have an option to initiate a chat right inside client portal, which will be notified to you right inside Zoho Books itself. So for example, if the clients wants to negotiate with the code shared by the business owner, they do not need to send a lengthy email or make a phone call to you. Those things are outdated already. They can simply comment on the code right inside the client portal, which will be notified right inside your accounting application. So how cool it is, right? So I'd like to share some statistics here. US had 2 million accountant in 2019. Now it has only 1.6 million accountants. Just 65,000 students completed an accounting degree in 2022. The number was 80,000 a year between 2012 and 2018. Companies have delayed their annual reports, done incorrect filings, etc., due to the short accountant shortage in US. So the market for Indian CAs is extremely big, and it's wide. So you can acquire clients across geographies. So when you have clients across geographies, it is important to have communication in their respective languages, right? So when you need to converse with them in an email, the translation should also be contextual and private, and that too happens within the mail platform itself. So we have Zoho Mail to rescue. So Zoho Mails offer this functionality. So as and when you complete drafting an email, you can simply click on translate to, and the email content would be updated in the given language automatically.
Actually, very good example of privacy.
Yes.
Like, how you can maintain the privacy of the customer.
Yeah, you don't have to copy the content and use any third-party application just for translation purpose. So the Zoho Mail of Zoho offers 55 plus products. One such product is Zoho Mail. So which is, you can try out Zoho Mail. We have a free plan and multiple plans available under Zoho Mail as well. So you can simply use the tool for translating when you have clients across geographies. The traditional search methods that rely heavily on exact keyword matches are nowhere in practice today. So NLP is another buzzword which need no explanation. We have Zia, Zoho's AI assistant for business. So we have internal AI tool, we call it Zia. So you can search across Zoho application using this NLP functionality.
Okay, I think we are receiving some feedback. Okay, it's okay. We do not have to use Zoho. We can continue with just the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So we acknowledge the chats which we are saying. So it's okay. If actually we have been getting feedback in our previous sessions that to tell us what is available in Zoho, and that is why the examples which we have used is from Zoho. But it's okay. So if even if you're not using Zoho, there are a lot of other applications in the market, okay, which have similar technologies. So you can find those applications as well. So we will just stick to the terminologies of the
Absolutely.
technology.
So whatever I mentioned about Zoho, those technologies available across all the cloud applications. So that is what we are trying to say here. So based on the feedback that we received in the last few sessions, we are using Zoho here. So okay, going forward, we'll restrict that. Yeah. So AI-powered call transcription and intelligence, refer the use of AI to automatically transcribe spoken conversation. So whatever we spoke on the call, that would be, documented automatically by the system. So let's quickly discuss the features of this functionality. The first and the foremost is automatic transcription. This feature converts speech into text in real time, capturing conversations accurately. Okay. So second one is speaker identification. This distinguishes between different speakers to provide a clear content in the transcription. Most importantly, this feature also helps in doing the sentiment analysis. This analyzes the emotional tone of the conversation, helping to gauge customer sentiment. Karthika, can you enlighten us about streamlining workflow management?
Okay. So another common work which which is very common in back office operations is a lot of workflows to be maintained,
Yeah.
right? So if you're going to use applications where you can create those workflows very easily, like there is some drag and drop which you can do and just create those workflows and make it accessible to others.
Right.
Okay. So generally, how do you create a workflow? Traditionally, you might be just making a note of it in a paper, or you might just have it in your mind, and I think it is very difficult to share it with others also.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But if you are using an application now, see, we all think that like as I said, what we call it as an AI itself is a paradox. Okay, so you need to just find an application or a product, or where these things are already embedded, right? So you need to find a product where you are able to build the workflow. So one of your operation is building workflows, so just find a nice product in the market where you can easily create the workflows and just share it with others. So what you're doing it for your clients, right? So let's say your client your client is into something where he does a lot of sales. Okay. Now in that sales he is going to have a lot of process. Okay. So you help them in creating that. You are suggesting a product where, and see, from a finance point of view, you would be interested to know from the deal how much is the sale made, what is the budget allocated to it, what is the operational expenses that is happening around it, and finally when you win the deal, how much profit you have made out of it, the investment which you have made is actually worth it or not, right? So that is the interest from the finance perspective. Now as a strategic advisor to them, to handle this whole to handle that deal process, what is the workflow you're suggesting matters actually. Okay, so there are going to be expense submissions, there are going to be travels involved, and the expenses submissions around it, which has to be later deducted or added in their payroll, and then there is a revenue from the deal made, and plus and minus of all of these things is actually going to give you the profit at that project level or at the client level, right? So in order to get that to that finance, the first step which you need to do is to have a workflow to achieve it, right? So how are you getting your deals, how are you tracking your expenses, how they are getting linked with each other? So there is a workflow to be created. You need to tell that A, B, C, D, D, E, this is what you need to follow. So where will you create this workflow? You need an application for that. You cannot just create it in your mind. So you need to find application which helps you do that. Okay. And once you do all of those things, now that workflows is going to be in the different business functions, right? So then there is a sales function, there is a, how is the trend of your customers, how is the churn reports related to them, how much revenue you have made, the task which you have created across it, what is the percentage of closure in that project, what milestones you have covered, how much risk is involved in it. So there are a lot of business functions going on. Now how do you visualize all of those things and present it to someone, and to have visibility across your business functions? So the person who is handling the receivables and sales, the person involved in those workflows may not be actually involved in the overall things, right? Or that person may not be involved in their retention programs. So there has to be some common dashboard where you are going to bring that visibility. Now how do you do that? So you have data everywhere. Now how do you converge all of these things and bring it to something which is visible across everyone? How do you do that? Again, you need to find an application where all of these things can be done. Now what technology that application would have used could have been an AI or something. Okay, so we don't have to get into that part. What we need to find out is an application which can do that, a vendor who can help you get this done.
Yeah, so next we will discuss about repeating repetitive tasks. The back office is often associated with routine, repetitive tasks, but by automating these processes, we can eliminate manual work and improve efficiency. So with the creation of masters like customers, items, its price, and taxes, you will be able to create invoices in second using any cloud application. So you do not have to create every transactions manually when you use cloud application. Let us say the business workflow need an estimate and sales order to be created before raising an invoice. All you'll have to do is create an estimate and convert that to a sales order with a click of a button, and again use a click of a button to convert the sales order into an invoice. So let us say the business needs to create an invoice for the same amount at a stipulated time. We can create a parent invoice and make it recurring every week or a month using the recurring invoice functionality, which is commonly available in the cloud software. So now that we saw how simple it is to create an invoice, moving on, we'll discuss how to get paid faster. So all cloud apps are integrated with various payment gateways like Stripe, PayPal, Paytm. So you will be able to collect payments from the customers in no time. So we have the cloud application has an automated reminder functionality. You can set up automated reminders to collect your receivables. This will help you chase the new customers rather than following up for the payment from the existing customers. You can concentrate more on giving strategic advices, instead of working on receivables and payables part. You can also update the expected payment date from the customers right within the cloud accounting software itself. This data will help you follow up with the defaulters and avoid frustration from the client who promised to make the payment on the specified time. Yeah, so far we have discussed personalized communication, streamlined workflow management, and automating day-to-day tasks. Now Karthika will help us understand how effectively use AI on enhanced research and analysis.
Okay, so you can see this GIF. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet, right? And how do we actually work on the spreadsheet is like you have all these tables of data and then you sit and analyze it, right? You work on those numbers, you backtrack it and try to understand what has happened. Okay, instead the application which you are using, there you should be able to just search what you want. Okay, and that application should be able to perform that analysis and give you the result. Okay, because data is there, you have told what you want, but you don't have to work on what you want. It is a system which should be able to do that. Okay, So what we spoke just before, right? Like, now converting that estimate to invoice itself would have been AI previously,
Right.
right? But now we just call it as some technology.
Correct.
Right? We just call it as automation. Right? But now this might appear something like an AI thing.
Correct.
Right? And then I'm just coming back to this paradox of, how, something which is fancier and which is very new, we call it as an AI, and we do not even know that we have been even using AI previously. Right? So anyways, coming back to this point, what I'm trying to say is, like, see, we cannot ignore spreadsheets. We have a lot of reports in our spreadsheets, but the spreadsheets which you are using ensure that, since AI algorithms are available, most of the lot of applications have adopted AI, and they are able to give you beautiful or required insights which you need, so that you don't have to work on it. Similarly, there are conversational analytics. So let us say you are using an analytics applications where you have all the data, and you have to just converse with them. So the way I remember, a couple of years ago, the first conversational AI which we built was like a conversational thing which we were trying, testing, was like we were just on a car, and then I just asked, hey, what is the revenue of this month? And it just pulled the data and brought, right? So that should be, I mean, that kind of technology is available. You need to just use it. So so from the back office operations point of view, what we are saying you is that this kind of AI advancements are available in terms in the space of analytics. And in fact, even in terms of presentation, so let us say you have to present it to the business owner, or the business owner has to present it to you, whatever be the case. You want a lot of data for the presentations, right? Like, like how many deals are open, how many deals are created for this month, how many are won, what is the revenue, what is the average sales cycle. Now you don't even have to go and search for it. If you just again, so there are applications where, for the presentations, what is the data required, if you just feed in that, the system will be able to give you all of those data. Okay? And if you want to even set notifications on them, like, whenever this value is reached, you need to give me a notification so that I will make a presentation of that. All of that can also be done. So that is the level of automations, or intelligence which has come after the AI algorithms.
So we can, now let's talk about proactive insights and recommendations that we get using these analytics tools. So we can simplify complex financial data into more understandable and actionable format using business intelligence tools. So Power BI is one such market, right? So Power BI helps you eliminate the complex financial insights into more simplified reports. So you can feed n number of data and analytics, reports into analytics, and the Power BI can read all the inputs and be able to give detailed in format that you require. So analytic software empowers organization to harness their data effectively, turning into meaningful insights that drive better business decisions. By using Power BI or analytical tools, teams cannot only track performance, but also strategize for the future based on solid data analysis. So beyond all this, analytics supports natural language as well.
Next, another common operations which all of us do is document processing, right? So you might be receiving a lot of documents either into your mails or into your drives, okay, whatever you're using for collecting documents. Now, there are artificial intelligence algorithms available and trained in such a way that it can classify what kind of documents it is. Okay? So let's say you have been receiving invoices, you have been receiving tax forms, and then you have been receiving regular emails. You are receiving documents which you need to sign, you can call it as something. Okay, you are receiving documents related to policies from the clients. Okay, and there are some payroll documents which needs to be processed. So there are a lot of documents, of course. Okay, now if you can use a drive or find out a mail application which can also help you classify those documents. So just on the receipt of the documents, based on the data available there, so AI has been trained in such a way that it will be able to segregate all the policy documents separately, clients documents separately, payroll documents separately, other documents separately. So you can utilize these to actually have an excellent document classification also. And then you might be aware of this OCR technology also. So we commonly use this example of, why should we create an expense in my expense reporting applications? Especially when I'm traveling, I make so many expenses, right? So there are a lot of papers. Now, you should be able to use an expense reporting application which uses AI or OCR, OCR technology, which just scans the paper and create a transaction itself. Instead of me submitting 10 expenses myself, I mean creating 10 expenses myself, I'll be just uploading these expenses and the system should be able to do that. So imagine the workload which is going to reduce for all the employees or the people who are going to submit the expenses, and also the people who are going to process it. So even though I may submit it, there is usually a culture of approval, right? Only if it gets approved, the expense is actually accounted there. So if it is a scanned thing which is done by the system and already foolproof, then you may not even have to go for those approvals if required. Similarly, I was talking about classification, document classification and scanning of receipts. There is also something called data extractions. So let's say again you have a lot of documents which is classified. You use them to scan and create those transactions. All that is fine. Let's say from that data you want to extract something. Okay, like you have a lot of invoices available and your client's details are there. Okay, now you want to extract only the client information and the addresses and put it somewhere else in another drive or another folder. Now there are NLPs available. So there are applications available which uses NLPs to actually extract that data. And just so if you are going to just give them a command of extract all the clients and their addresses, now there is something to do. There is a technology which can do that for you, and it can create a beautiful new sheet or a folder with all the clients and their addresses alone. Similarly, maybe you want to have just clients and their email IDs, clients emails, email IDs, phone numbers, addresses, whatever format you want, you can extract the data from the existing documentations.
So moving on, complex tax changes and impact assessment. So instead of manually reviewing hundreds of pages of new tax laws to find updates, AI can automatically pinpoint relevant changes such as new rules and inform you how they impact the tax filing. You also need to choose the software wisely, which has the capability of adapting the changing laws and regulation. This will help you serve the clients not just in India, but across the globe.
Okay, another common operations which we all do is drafting agreements, responding to notices, and prepared board resolutions. So what do we use? We generally use a writing, to create documents. We use an application where you can write any kind of writer documents. Okay, now that should not be just a plain document where you just draft it and then again go for a lot of approval. Someone need to review it and then ensure your English is right, your grammar is right. You have something to check whether it is a passive sentence or active, because the way board resolution should be prepared has some kind of English, right? And the way your policy documents are made might have some kind of English. So the applications which you are using to write those details, write those document itself, should have the intelligence to guide you. Okay, it could be as simple as you have made some spelling errors or you have made some grammar mistakes. Now that should be able to tell you the suggestions and correct you, right? Or let us say So I have noticed most of the policy or documents have some difficulty level,
Right.
right? It's not very easy to, for a layman to at least understand. Let us say you need to maintain that difficulty level, okay?
Right.
So if you have not maintained that difficulty level also, the document should tell me that, see, this English doesn't look like a policy English, right?
Correct.
Or let us say it is too much and it is not even readable, then again it should tell me that, the difficulty level is too high, right? And similarly, like, there could be when you want to dictate something, like you want to say do this, do that, okay? When I write a document to tell them these are the things which you need to do, so then that should be in the active voice, do this, do that, right? But if I had used a passive voice, then again it should be able to tell me. So I'm just trying to say that there are applications which have that intelligence to do that. So those are the kind of applications which you need to use, and how those applications are able to do that is of course using all this technology, all this artificial intelligence. Next, you're ready with the agreement, you're ready with the documents. Now, uh, it cannot be it should not be, you should not be in a situation that you have to create a new agreement every time. So let's say you're creating a non-disclosure agreement, okay? Now there will be few changes here and there with some businesses, but usually it will be one piece of agreement which is modified, right? So you should be able to create a lot of copies or create a lot of templates from that, okay? So automate, again, it also comes under automating the task, okay? So when you create something, you should be able to create them as templates and use it for other things. And then you need to sign them, right? So either you sign it, or you can also create a process of signatures. So let's say there are going to be multiple signatures. All of that should be, you should be able to configure it in the same applications. I've noticed mostly what happens, people create a document in one application, then for signing they go for a different application, or they will use a mail. They will send a mail that, please have it signed by so and so people. They will assign one person to do that job, right? Instead, choose an application which helps you do all of this together. It should be a unified solution, right?
Yeah, so as CAs, you can significantly enhance the tax research and case preparation by leveraging AI-powered tools. These tools provide comprehensive access to vast database of tax laws, case studies, and real-time updates. So allowing as with advanced capabilities like natural language processing, smart search functions, and automated analysis, AI can identify patterns in historical cases and simplify various tax scenarios, ultimately streamlining the research process and saving valuable time. Moreover, AI enhances risk assessment and compliance by performing automated check against current regulations, helping CS identify potential risks and ensure adhering to tax laws. By creating a centralized knowledge base, AI also facilitates collaboration and knowledge sharing among team members. Overall, integrating AI into tax research enables CAs to deliver more informed strategic advice to clients, improve service quality and compliance in a complete tax environment. There are companies that offer comprehensive tools specifically designed for tax professionals. These tools not only save time but also improves the accuracy of information retrieval, ultimately leading to more informed strategic decision making in tax planning and compliance. As the landscape of tax regulations become increasingly complex, embracing AI powered research tools will be essential for CAs to aiming delivering exceptional service and value to your clients.
Okay. So another thing where AI can be definitely useful would be translation of documents. So you talked about translation of conversations,
Yes.
right, in the mail. But then we receive a lot of things as a document only, right? So even there, so let's say I have received a document in Arabic from my GCC client, right? Then I should be able to translate it within the same application, right? And I should not be going to a third party for putting this data there and translating it. So how the translation happens is also using the AI technology.
So data analytics and transforming unstructured data into structured forms.
Okay, I can take this up. So I can take this as as an example of, let us say you're doing migration. Okay, you're migrating your client's data from one application to the another. Okay, now how migration itself is more associated to an I would say manual work, right? You collect the data from one application which is in some format, then you utilize some people or one person to actually convert that data to another format which is compatible for your new application, right? And then you need to ensure that this conversion has happened properly, right? Like, all the data have come from that format to this format. Now the names, the terminologies used will be different. You need to ensure you will have to manually map that application's data in this application's sheet, right, which you are going to import it in the new application. And then obviously once you've done all of these things, you are going to actually import it manually in the new applications, right? But this whole process can be actually made easier if you're again going to use an application which helps you with this whole data processing, right? Now you have a data collection done. Let's say this whole data cleansing, that data mapping, everything is done by that application or that tool. And then you have that right data ready or the sheet ready, which you need to just import it into the new application, or maybe even that import can be done in that new application,
right?
So how those all these things are happening, how these things are happening in the tool is, again, we are using some technology and this fancy word AI there to do that. So there is a data collection. So how we are restructuring the data, we are collecting the data, cleaning and pre-processing the data, then extracting the data, transforming the data to the format or the way that will be acceptable by the new things. We are validating the data. All of these things can be configured in this tool the way you want and have this imported in your new system. So this we have touched base on previously also. So now that you have all this data, I'm just continuing to this. So I have collected the data, I have the data. Now however you want, how the way you would want to visually make it appealing, or your CEO might like a kind of analytics, or CFO would want a different kind of dashboard. How do you slice and dice the data, right? For all of that also, again, you need not sit and prepare dashboards and analytics yourself. You will be able to, using the conversational AIs, you need to just ask the system for what do you want, and the system should be able to give you. Okay,
right.
And you will be able to visualize all of this data. So all of these things also comes under the AI part only. And more where you can use it, like again, from for your client's point of view, how you can help your clients predict their churn. Okay, so let's say they have hundreds of customers. Now it's not necessary that hundreds of customers are going to stay with them, right? Based on certain activities, you will be able to know whether they are going to stay with you or not. Like, right, say let's say someone is buying a gym subscription. Based on how consistent he is, or based on his trends, you will be able to know whether he is going to continue that subscription or not, right? Whether he's going to renew it next year or not. So you can configure those criterias which you want, and based on that the system will be able to generate those churns, or it will help it should be able to in fact tell you how you will be able to reduce that churn and all of that.
Right.
Okay, another thing which you can visualize is, let's say your clients are into order fulfillment. Okay, now during order fulfillment, you package a lot of things and then you deliver, right? Now you can use applications which can help you visualize those packaging itself. Okay, that kind of advancements are available in the order management applications. So here also the technologies which are used are very advanced and tech savvy. So I think we have spoken more on finance front, right? So we can also cover some HR functions here.
Yeah. So there is AI available in the recruitment of industry as well. So from screening resume to job posting and sourcing to task management and reporting, and for offer letters and onboarding, there are AI available in the market. And there is when we talk about HRMS software, so we have there is a software that can manage attendance tracker, leave tracker, keep track of your time. All these can be automated using AI. And so, yeah.
So yeah, right from hiring to retiring, what you're saying is, there are a lot of processes which we have been executing for several years,
Yes.
right? Similarly, all the back office operations which
True.
we had discussed, all of that we have been executing for several years. So there is no doubt that, like human expertise
Yeah,
cannot, there is no doubt that, that it is going to remain.
Yes.
Definitely that is not going to be replaceable, right?
Yes.
So, so though in so many examples which we gave, we showed that how AI can help you, but still what you cannot ignore is the human judgment which you are going to apply.
True.
Right now, any it might give you insights, but the strategic decision which you are going to
Yes.
make, it is the CAs who are going to make, or the CFOs who are going to make. Okay, and with all of this data, actually you should use them to build the trust with your clients and all of that. Now,
Yeah.
as I said, your actual battleground is with your customer
Customers.
experience, right? So there definitely AI is not going to come and replace anything.
True.
Now what we are going to replace is the manual efforts which we are making, and due to which those it becomes more error prone and all of
Yeah.
that. So that is where we are using the technology and AI to solve those problems.
Yeah, by automating repetitive and complex tasks, you can concentrate more on the strategic thing instead of, deliver. We can focus on human insights and emotional intelligence by giving strategic advices to your clients instead of doing the manual task again and again.
Right. Okay. So, so I would like to just close this with a story of clever Hans. Okay. So, okay, before we take that story, I think.
If there is any question, that is chat. You can go to question.
Yeah,
You
no,
can
I
close
think
this.
this is chat only.
No, do we have a Q&A?
It comes in chat only.
No, there's something called Q&A.
AI has many advantages. Can we know the flip side as well? Like how many jobs will be lost?
So as I said, critical thinking and moral reasoning, applying professional judgment or ethical consideration, these are the sixth sense available only with us humans and not provided to AI yet. So AI can handle data, but only humans can turn data into strategic advice. So humans are irreplaceable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also I would like to add a point that, see, will CAs be replaced by AI or technology? Definitely not. But CAs who are not embracing technology or AI currently, right? Definitely they will be replaced by CAs who have actually embraced it. Right. That is what we need to, understand. Okay, so I'll just quickly tell you the story of this clever Hans. You might be already aware of it if you have been reading, a lot of things on AI. So it is something called clever Hans effect in the world of AI actually. So there used to be German mathematicians, and he had a horse. Okay, and looks like that horse was very intelligent. Okay, so if you ask it what is 3 plus 2, it would hit it hooves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And answer is 5, right? So it would hit as 5. Okay, so that's how clever it was. And you might think that the horse answers whenever the owner of that horse asks, but no, even if you ask, like anyone asks, it was able to answer. Okay, so it used to do arithmetic, it used to tell time. Okay, and a lot of such things. Okay, so I think previously these were the thing that was more of a time pass things, and people used to have entertainments and all around it, right? So I think people used to gather, ask questions, and appreciate, and maybe they used to make money also out of it. But yeah, that clever was the horse. Now, and they used to compare the horse to humans. Okay, so so there was a psychiatrist who wanted to understand like how the horse is able to do that. Okay, so yeah, he studied about that horse, and what he noticed is that Now we are thinking, people were thinking that the horse is very intelligent. It has the human intelligence, and that is why it is able to answer 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, but that was what not the horse was doing. What it was doing was, it was observing the body language and the facial expressions of people, it seems.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
so it has trained itself. See, obviously the horse was intelligent, that it has trained itself to observe the facial expressions and the body language of humans. So let's say 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so when it is doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think when it does 5, as a human, I am giving some involuntary face expression or a body language acknowledging that 5 is the answer. I mean, whenever that 5 is reached, I am making some expression that 5 is the answer. The horse is picking up that cue and it's stopping at 5. Okay, so we misunderstood the intelligence here. We thought horse is like a human which is able to calculate 3 plus 2 5. That is not the intelligence it had. The intelligence it has is that it has trained itself in knowing the expressions and the body languages of the humans. Okay, right. So I would like to, not just me, so in the world of AGI, okay, people compare AI with clever hunts. Okay, so we sometimes think, so even this question which say like the flip side of it, how many of us are able to going to lose the job, that is not what we need to be thinking about. That means we are afraid of AI. We are thinking that it is more intelligent than us, right? No. So as the name says, artificial intelligence. Okay, we have trained AIs. Okay, it is an artificial intelligence that has been created. It is not a natural intelligence, right? They are trained. The AI is trained. So when you ask a question to ChatGPT, okay, so what people are learning now, prompt engineering, right? So you are taught how to prompt so that it will give you the right answer, right? So that's where we are leading to. So definitely we don't have to be afraid of it. Okay, but if imagine we are getting a horse which is able to do this job for you, what you need to do think is like, how do I utilize this horse? That's it, right? So the world is giving you a technology to ease some of your work, like you can automate your task, you can process your documents, you can reduce your AP time, you can reduce time on thinking about insights, right? Instead of making backward decisions, you can look forward to the decisions. So there are a lot of things that is happening. Okay, so let us utilize it,
use the right technology,
and just move forward. So the intention of this session was to actually show you some of the products and the tools and the technologies which are available to ease your back office operations. So if you were thinking like, yes, there is AI all around, but how do I use it in my back office operations? So these were some of the examples which we wanted to present. And with that, we would like to just end this session. And if you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A tab, and we will be able to answer those questions. And over to you, Maitri. So there is a question by the audience. Can prompt engineering help automate generating of audit reports? And how do we make sure there is enough human oversight to ensure accuracy and judgment? So you need to just find an application which will be able to generate the audit report. Okay, so when we say utilize AI, it doesn't mean that you have to go learn AI and generate it necessarily. That is not what you need. Okay, you can just find applications in the market which can help you generate those audit reports. And though the reports are available, you can have approval systems, you can create validation rules, you can automate a couple of things which helps that which ensures that it has the accuracy. So yes, you can always have the human oversight on top of that. So here what you're automating would be the generation of the report, or I would even say that instead of the final audit report which you need, okay, the data which you need in the audit reports could be here and there. Okay, there could be multiple reports, multiple data available which need to come to the audit report. So if you have an analytical tool which can, merge all of this data and bring it to the form of the audit report, you can again verify it and then take it for the audit report. So those are the kind of things which you would have to use it. Okay, there was one more question from the audience. So I think we were sharing you some examples, and the question is, what if we are not using Zoho Books? That's totally okay. Again, you need to just find out an application which does the work for you. If your requirement is to convert the receipts into expenses automatically, just find the right application which is able to do that. If your requirement is to provide client portal to your customers or automatically convert one kind of transaction into another transaction, you have to just find the right application which can do that work for you. Okay, I think there was one comment made about Chat GPT also compromises on privacy. I believe you are providing your experience and not recommending anything. Okay, so I'm not sure if there has been any misunderstanding. So we have not used Chat GPT for any kind of translate. I think
No, I think you misunderstood. So he's saying Chat GPT also compromise. So
yeah,
he's asking us to suggest some tools.
so see, for what purpose you're using Chat GPT matters. Again, we do not want to comment on a different vendor. Uh, what we are saying, see, any vendor you're going to choose, they will definitely have their security pages and privacy pages. So please go through that, and only if you agree, if you're okay with their terms and conditions, only then we are going to use it. So make an informed decision. And if that comment was made when we were talking about translations and stuffs, then again, so the tool which you are using to make translations, a writer document or a mail which you are going to use, please read the privacy document of that particular vendor, understand how they are using it, how the data is being used, and please make an informed decision about it. So if there are any more questions, please feel free to post on the Q&A. And Maitri ma'am, are you available? Okay, we have some Q&A. The ethical concerns around using AI in auditing and accounting, especially when it comes to data privacy and keeping sensitive information secure. So yes, as I said, it's all about verifying the vendor which you are using. Okay, so let's say you're using an application where you're going to do the accounting and auditing. Okay, please go through how they are going to use the data. Okay, and this when you say ethical concerns around using AI in auditing and accounting, see, obviously, then it starts from the human itself, right? So as accountants, we are also, we are exposed to their data, right? And as multiple humans are going to go through that and produce an audit report, right? So if it is about sharing of the data, yes, either it is available to the human or it is available to the technology. Now when it comes to the human, it's more on the trust factor on the firm and on the person and all of that, right? Similarly, when you are using using an application, so AI based application, to do that you need to verify their terms and conditions, form a trust on them, and only then use them. So that would be my opinion. So I think we are done with the questions. Vratika ma'am, WIRC team. Yes. Can you share instances of data from cloud leak? You can find lot of instances of data. So this question, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I'm not sure why. I mean, what is the intention behind this question? Maybe you can clarify again. Instances of data from cloud leaked.
So I think, are you asking cloud is safe to use?
Yes.
So if that is the case,
Okay.
so
see,
yeah, so
it's a very it's a misconception that cloud is not safe. Okay, as I said, it's all about reading the privacy and the security pages of the vendor which you're going to use. Please check what kind of third party they are using to store the data, what kind of data centers they are using.
whether they have their own data centers or they are using third party data centers. You can also check their SOC audits, ISO audits, then that covers the entire database, data centers and everything under SOC audit. So before you choose a vendor, make sure you validate everything and then go for a vendor.
Right. So any more questions? If you think we have not covered something in the session and you have it as a question, please post it here. We'll see if we can answer that. It could be specific to Zoho, it could be specific to AI or accounting practices, it could be anything. So we'll wait for a few more questions. And WIRC team, you can also pitch in if required.
Ma'am?
So I think, yeah, WIRC team.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have completed the session and we have taken the questions also. Over to you. Okay, there is one more question on, I think the expectation was to show the AI tools itself. Okay, so that is what we have been trying to clarify here. So I think some examples at the end, which we have shown all the back office operations. We have shown, how this spreadsheet insights works, how conversational analytics work, how the translators work within the application, how conversions of receipts to a transaction work, some of automatic reconciliations, visual data representations, how you can automate a lot of repetitive tasks, be it your accounting work or be it your HR operations. So all of this is AI only. Okay, so it necessarily AI tool is not something very it doesn't have something very different, right? So as I said, it's a paradox. Today you call it as something, tomorrow you call it as something else. Okay, what you need to just understand is that whatever you're using has those AI things. Okay, so we don't have to necessarily get into what is an NLP or what is an LLM or what is even AI for that matter. Okay, so there is some technology which is making your life easier and that is useful to you. Just check their privacy and security stuffs. If you believe that, if you trust that, then just go ahead with that application. Okay, so that is, so when I say there is an so we do not have to imagine something as an AI tool. Okay, so those will be part of the applications. So one example which we were sharing is that, so let's say you have sent as a very simple example. Okay, so let's say you have sent a quotation and someone is commenting on that, and let us say that is automatically coming into your accounting application and reflecting. Okay, or let's say some payment has been made, initiated, which has processed, and that is automatically applied in your invoice. Okay, now all of these is automations. Now there will be some technology used there to do that, right? In our cases, it is something like a connected banking, conversion of receipts into a transaction. We are using an OCR technology. So the technologies will have its names. Okay, so if you are tech savvy, you want to learn all of those technologies, well and good. You want to read about it, all of that is good. Okay, but as chartered accountants, what you can focus is just find out right applications or right services which provide you those technologies and just use it. Okay, just make your back office operations easier. Choose applications which make your life easier and your client's life easier. Recently suggested that super intelligence might arrive within a few thousand days. How should auditors and accountants prepare for the emergence of super intelligent AI systems? Please be prepared to embrace them. That is what I would say. So if something something super uber is coming, then let's be happy that it is going to help us. Now what we should be prepared of is, like, I don't want to use the word afraid again, because I've already got a comment that please don't misinterpret it as afraid. Really happy if we are not afraid of it. And how we should be prepared of it, like when it comes, right? Obviously we are again going to have a lot of articles about it, lot of sessions about it, where people will be talking about it. So anyone who is interested to grab those knowledge, please go ahead and do that. And these technologies will be used in technology savvy applications which are going to make your life easier. So just embrace them. So interesting questions. So if you have any more questions, we can definitely take it up.
One more coming. Yeah, please.
Yes, one more question it seems. Yes, please. Yeah.
हेलो ऋतिका मैडम, हेलो
Yes, sir.
ऋतिका मैडम,
वोट ऑफ थैंक्स करो।
मैडम
Yes.
ऋतिका मैम वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए मैम हो गया आपका मैम?
I think one person has okay, there is one question.
Okay,
I'll
madam.
finish that. Okay. AI is being widely used for cyber crime, refer many instances in the news. Okay. Okay, so see any technology, just even it's a very old example which everyone gives, right? The knife which you're using in the kitchen, you can use to cut vegetables or do whatever it is. Okay, so we are just talking about how you can use it for your back office operations. So let's streamline our back office operations with AI technology or whatever new thing that comes in. Okay, if someone is going to use it for a wrong thing, then again there will be technologies coming in to stop that, prevent that, punish them, and all of that. Okay, so I think the respective departments will be taking care of it. So let's just make the most of what is good available. Over to WIRC team. WIRC team, over to you.
Subhashji, we are done.
हेलो
Yes sir, please go ahead.
मैम, अभी तो ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं मैम.
हाँ, आंसर कर दिया है सर आप.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम.
Thank you. Thank you.
मैम कोऑर्डिनेटर शायद बिजी हैं किधर.
Okay,
Yeah,
Oh,
no issues.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you everyone.
थैंक यू मैम.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ये मैं सोचा 2 घंटे